One man found dead months ago, several suspects arrested, and a disturbing realization. Now the search for a missing toddler in the middle of a homicide investigation.
We had a lot of thunderstorm activity on our Friday afternoon, and we still have an increased chance for thunderstorms and flash flood potential all weekend long. We'll have your forecast coming up.
High school football season kicks off tonight under those Friday night lights, despite the wet weather. How students are braving these thunderstorms.
It's Utah law to exempt clergy from reporting abuse during confessions.
That exception to me creates more problems than it solves.
How a Republican and Democrat are working together to remove that protection.
And tonight, the first clue in a treasure hunt along the Wasatch Front, one that could earn you $20,000.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13 News at 9 starts right now.
Tonight, police asking for your help as they search for a missing and endangered 18-month-old little boy. This afternoon, an alert was issued for this young man, Stefan Coleman Jr. We're learning more from investigators about how the toddler is connected to the search for a suspect in a homicide this past May.
Fox 13 News reporter Spencer Joseph joins us from the scene of that homicide in South Salt Lake tonight. Spencer.
Yes, and it all started in this parking lot and that Winco behind me, where a man was found murdered here back on May 9th. Ever since then, 3 suspects have been on the run, and now police believe that one of them might have an 18-year-old child who might be in danger.
We don't have specific information, and so it's a grave concern for us to make sure that we know where that 18-month-old is.
This is 18-month-old Stefan Coleman Jr., a child that's now missing and involved in a homicide in South Salt Lake back in May. On May 9th, 27-year-old Romero Stevens was found dead outside this South Salt Lake Winco. 4 suspects were named. 1 was arrested. Now, 3 months later, these 3 remain at large.
They left shortly after, left the state after that, and we have been looking for them ever since.
Earlier this week, in a development in the case, police arrested the parents of one of the suspects, as well as Liana Blas, the girlfriend of Stefan Coleman Sr., for obstruction of justice.
They are helping the 3 homicide suspects avoid apprehension.
When she was taken into custody, they realized her 18-month-old was not with her. She's refused to say anything since.
She wouldn't give any information to police or to Division of Child and Family Services where the 18-month-old is.
It's believed that Coleman and Blas, along with their 18-month-old son, left the state shortly after the homicide. They were last seen in late May at Liana's mother's house in El Paso, Texas, with the 18-month-old. Several attempts to locate him have been unsuccessful, and so they've taken it to the next step, Friday issuing a missing and endangered advisory for Coleman in the Utah Criminal Justice Information System.
We potentially could be with somebody that's violent and considered armed and dangerous.
Now they're asking for everyone to take a look at little Stefan Coleman Jr. and report anything you see to police.
And so we're just following up on every lead, every tip, but our biggest concern right now, in addition to picking up and apprehending the 3 outstanding suspects that are considered armed and dangerous, is checking the welfare of the 18-month-old. We need the community's help.
And I believe I said 18-year-old. I meant 18-month-olds. That's my apologies and my mistakes on that. Now, police are very frustrated at this point because no one they have in custody at this point are giving them any leads at this point. So they're really, really asking for the public's help. And if you know anything, you can remain anonymous, but please call the South Salt Lake Police Department. Live in South Salt Lake, Spencer Joseph, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Spencer, thank you. A TRAX train was knocked off the rails this afternoon. Police say the driver of a van ran a red light and plowed into the S-Line train. Happened at about 4 near the Central Point station at 220 West and 2100 South. Investigators are trying to determine just what happened.
Luckily, on most of our intersections, we have video that covers just for this reason. So that's nice to have also because it tells you a good part of the story of what happened.
The 54-year-old male driver of the van was taken to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. No one on the train was hurt. A special crane was used to lift the train back onto the rails, and the line was back open in less than 2 hours.
Salt Lake City police are investigating a crash that involved 5 vehicles. A commercial-sized delivery truck was driving south on 400 West at 450 South when the driver lost control and crashed into 4 parked cars. A 66-year-old man was pinned beneath the car and suffered critical injuries. The driver of the truck remained on scene, and police are trying to determine if that driver had a medical episode prior to the crash.
American Fork police have found the man accused of being involved in an officer-involved shooting, a pursuit, and an Amber Alert earlier this week. It was late Tuesday night when police were going after 29-year-old Danny Sihalath at the local Walmart in American Fork. Detectives finally found him yesterday and took him into custody. He was initially taken to the hospital to be treated for injuries related to the Walmart incident. He has since been booked into the Utah County Jail.
West Valley City Police believe they found the man who killed an 11-year-old boy in a hit and run on Wednesday night. Investigators believe Stephen Rollins was behind the wheel. Police connected him with a silver Toyota Tacoma that had damage consistent with the crash. A neighbor saw a car matching the description, and investigators found Rollins in a nearby house. He was booked into jail for failing to stay on scene.
Incredible video just coming into the Fox 13 newsroom of this massive mess made by debris from the Coal Hollow burn scar at Dairy Fork. That's in Spanish Fork Canyon. Utah County Public Works removed more than 200 dump truck loads of debris from Dairy Fork and Thistle Catch Basin. That debris removal work will continue tomorrow. Looks like they have their hands full.
Yeah, difficult to tell from that video. At first I thought maybe it was a sinkhole, but now it looks like it was just a waterway under a bridge or a walkway there.
Yeah, and several burn scars. We saw a lot of different flooding pictures and videos tonight, all the way from Spanish Fork Canyon down by Fillmore, Utah as well. So got just some different large storms that put down heavy rain in a hurry. Now, some of our storms have moved out of Salt Lake. We're getting a treat here. We have a beautiful sunset this evening, getting lots of pictures of that coming in. And with the thunderstorms around tonight, we even had a lot of rainbow action. Here's our double rainbow. You can always see that second rainbow is reflected, and the colors go in the opposite direction, which is always fun to look at. So we'll be looking out for rainbows, of course, just about every evening as we go into the next couple of nights here. Now, here's just a sample of some of the rain totals that we got tonight. So Buse Canyon over by Ogden, about a ½ inch. Alpine, a 1/3 of an inch. And Kanab, and we even had flash flood warning earlier in the east part of Zion National Park, and we had more rain than that in a few places as well. So heavy rain totals, and we still have some rain showers now, especially up to the north and east of Salt Lake. Most of the Cache Valley and the Bear Lake area, that's all winding down, and we still have some rain showers now settling down just to the west of Beaver in western Beaver County. So some of that's all winding down now, but we still have the flood watch because that's through tonight and through tomorrow, because tomorrow afternoon we're going to have more rain showers again. So as we lose the daytime heating now, the showers starting to settle down. 80 degrees now in Salt Lake and in Ogden. It's cooled off a little bit courtesy of some of that rain. We're in the 60s in Cedar City, and going through the night here, temperatures will settle down to around 70 degrees. But tomorrow we'll have more rain again and again on Sunday. So we'll have all the details in your forecast straight ahead.
Thanks, Dina. Well, if you've ever hiked the Narrows at Zion National Park, you know what an incredible experience it is.
Except not when the weather is like that. Monsoon season is here, and Zion, like many parts of the state, are getting a drenching almost every single afternoon for the past several weeks now. The Narrows and other slot canyons are closed when there's a flash flood warning.
There may be a flash flood where you are, even if you can't see any rain. The way that the canyon systems in places like Zion exist, water can be funneled from miles away and come out where you're recreating, even though there's no rain coming down.
Yeah, and it can have fatal consequences.
It sure can. Yeah.
That is why it is so important to check the park's website and the Utah's Weather Authority app to know before you go and what to expect when you get there.
Releasing the warrant and the list are not going to answer these concerns. Attorney General Garland should release the affidavit.
Some of what agents took from former President Donald Trump's Florida home is being shared with the public. What they found.
A man now behind bars accused of stabbing renowned and controversial author Salman Rushdie. What we're learning about the shocking attack.
A little rain is no match for school spirit. We'll show you how fans are feeling here in Bountiful on the first Friday Night Lights game of the season.
And one baseball team from Southern Utah is making history.
These guys are Little League World Series bound. All that and more coming up in Fox 13 Sports. After days of speculation and mystery surrounding the FBI raid of former President Trump's Florida home, a federal judge today unsealed the search warrant leading to Monday's search.
Inside, a receipt reveals agents retrieved 11 sets of classified records, including some of the most sensitive information. The former president is reacting tonight through social media.
Fox's Lauren Blanchard has details from Washington.
The search warrant has been unsealed, giving Americans an idea of what FBI agents were looking for at Mar-a-Lago. The property receipt shows us what they took.
The warrant shows agents were investigating potential violations of 3 federal laws, including the Espionage Act in regards to gathering, transmitting, or losing defense information, the unlawful removal of records, and destroying or concealing records in order to obstruct investigations or proceedings.
It's much more serious than we were led to believe.
According to the property receipt, agents took boxes of documents, some marked with one of the highest security designations, TS Top Secret, SCI, Sensitive Compartmented Information, meant to only be reviewed in secure government spaces.
They're certainly setting the stage for a potential criminal case. It doesn't mean one will happen.
On his Truth Social platform, the former president posted that everything he had was declassified, and the Justice Department is playing politics.
The president does have ultimate declassification authority.
Although the White House has stayed tight-lipped about the investigation, Friday the vice president did weigh in.
Any so-called leader who engages in rhetoric that in any way suggests that law enforcement should be exposed to that kind of danger is irresponsible and can result in dangerous activities.
The Democratic chairman of the House Intelligence Committee says they will wait to see if they need to conduct an oversight investigation. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Famed author Salman Rushdie is on a ventilator tonight with stab wounds to his neck and chest. The author of the Satanic Verses was attacked in New York today while giving a lecture. A 24-year-old New Jersey man rushed the stage and stabbed the 75-year-old Rushdie, who lived in hiding after a $3 million contract was issued on him by the Ayatollah Khomeini in Iran. Rushdie's Satanic Verses was considered blasphemous by Muslims.
Here's an individual who has spent decades speaking truth to power, someone who's been out there unafraid, despite the threats that have followed him his entire adult life, it seems.
Rushdie's agent says the writer has a damaged liver, severed nerves, and an arm, and is likely to lose an eye.
Utah's reservoir levels continue to decline. The Gunnison Reservoir in central Utah is now empty. It officially hit 0% capacity in the state's latest drought report. The latest drought report from the Department of Natural Resources, take a look here. It shows several reservoirs have gone dry or close to it. Statewide, reservoirs are at 50% of their capacity. If you factor in federally controlled reservoirs such as Lake Powell and Flaming Gorge, it's 40%. By the way, Lake Powell continues its decline. It is now at 25% capacity.
Friday Night Lights are back all over Utah. High school football teams had their first games of the season tonight.
Oh, those are always a good time, aren't they? Fox 13 News reporter Jenna Bree joining us live now from Bountiful High School, where the Bountiful Redhawks took on the Highland Rams tonight. Jenna, did the rain scare off any of those fans? It still looks pretty packed behind you.
Bob and Kelly, as you can see behind me, the stands are still pretty packed, and we're nearing the end of the game. There was a little bit of rain at the beginning of the game, but that wasn't going to stop these dedicated fans who have been so excited for Friday Night Lights.
Everybody's here for the same reason.
Terry Rash scouted his spot in the stands early tonight to watch his son play in his first football game ever.
Super excited to be out here getting back to football, which is, always fun to watch, but excited to see my son do something he's never done before.
With two nephews on the team too, he says there's nothing quite like Friday Night Lights.
I think it brings everybody together, and especially a time like this, as we're still kind of dealing with the pandemic and stuff like that. I mean, you look around, you're going to see a full stadium tonight.
Tonight's game bringing together friends who haven't seen each other in months.
So excited. Yeah, we're so hyped. We're excited for this.
It's the perfect start to the year.
Yeah, we're so excited.
Really
and there's a nice rainbow to kick it off, so we're so excited.
Yeah.
It's really fun seeing everyone come back together.
It's like the first time since summer, everyone gets together.
It's out with the Braves and in with the Red Hawks. The field and the fans fully adjusting to their school's new mascot.
I think everyone's pretty much embraced it. It's definitely a hard thing to change, but I think everyone's embraced it a lot, so it's been nice.
I think it's an awesome new start that we can all have and just get ready for a whole new start of everything.
And with just under 3 minutes left in the game, the Red Hawks are about to clinch that win at home with 28 points over the Rams at 3. Reporting live in Bountiful, Jenna Bree, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Looks like a lot of fun out there, Jenna. I remember those high school football games, and rain did not stop us.
No.
Yeah,
Up in the Northwest, there was a lot of rain when I went to high school, and we played anyway.
Yes, the student
'Cause we're
section.
tough.
I think the rain makes them come alive,
That's
perhaps
right.
even more.
Yeah, we sure had a lot of fun.
We'll have more high school sports results, football results coming up in sports later in the show.
Yeah.
And did you hear the band? Now that was the best part, right? The marching band. That is always so fun at the high school games. All right, Ogre Mountain camera tonight. So the rain has moved off, and you saw in the video that Jenna took there were some rainbows earlier and beautiful clouds. Here's a view from Antelope Island. Just gorgeous. Really nice skies. And now as the sun's going down, the rain showers are dwindling down with it. So mostly cloudy now at 80 degrees. Humidity still up there at 48%. That's pretty high. Now, some of our rain totals today, and this is why we even had some flash flood warnings earlier and some burn scar debris flows. Fish Lake over an inch of rain. I-15 around Pine Creek, almost 2 inches. Wow. Snow Basin, nearly an inch of rain. In West Jordan over at the landfill, about 0.83. In Panguitch, about a third of rain there as well. So some heavy rain totals all around. And in Salt Lake and Cedar City, we got a trace of rain, but then there were a few areas around us, like on the west side of town, that got a little bit more. So the rain's starting to diminish now, and we even have just cloudy skies around, and things are settling down. So in some of western Utah, we still have some rain around Delta and Milford and over by Richfield, but for the most part, things are settling. In southeastern Utah, just a few leftover showers. Could have some clouds and just some gusty winds. Now, unfortunately, with the cloud cover, only a few lucky people will be able to see some of the Person meteor shower, which is still going on. But because it's mostly cloudy, we're not really going to get a great view of that tonight. Now, we still have our flood watch, and that is going all the way in through tomorrow, because tomorrow afternoon we'll do it again. So we're still at risk for flash flood potential throughout much of the state tomorrow as that moisture kicks off again in the afternoon. So places that are really prone are slot canyons and burn scars, and even urban areas are at risk for some flooding too. So probable flooding, especially in our national parks tomorrow. So that's something to be on the lookout for, especially if you're planning on recreating there. Doing things in the morning is probably going to be a little bit easier than in the afternoon. Now it's 80 in Salt Lake, 70 in Heber, and 76 degrees here in Lehigh, 84 in Moab, and 66 degrees in Cedar City. So cooling off after some of the rain rain came down earlier. High pressure moves up to the east, and we're on the backside of this. Same story again. The monsoonal flow, you get that flow out of the south. You get the daytime heating mixing in, and the thunderstorms just go up in the afternoon. So we'll do that on Saturday. And if you go forward, this actually goes through Sunday, and we see that again. So Saturday and Sunday with the afternoon thunderstorms. Now tonight, things are starting to diminish a little bit, so we'll still call it a few showers around, but mostly cloudy. 71 degrees tonight in Salt Lake, 70 in St. George, in the 50s down in Park City. So tomorrow afternoon, still warm, but thunderstorms in the afternoon, up to 89 in Salt Lake, 90 in St. George, still in the 80s in Price. And Spanish Fort Canyon, that's going to be dicey tomorrow afternoon. We've got a lot of burn scars in there. Could be some pop-up showers around. So southern Utah, temperatures around 90. And then it warms up in the middle of the week and gets a little bit drier just about everywhere across the state. So scattered thunderstorms definitely are still the rule as we go forward through the weekend. And then much drier weather starts to show up in the middle of the week.
An announcement from lawmakers on both sides of the aisle proposing a bill that could remove the exemption of members of the clergy not required to report abuse.
And Utah's own Zach Wilson hurt in the Jets preseason opener. How he's doing tonight, plus how other locals in the NFL are faring.
Working across party lines tonight, new legislation is being proposed by two state lawmakers.
It would require clergy to report child abuse to authorities when they learn about it during confessions. Fox 13 News reporter Maithili Gubi spoke to lawmakers about this bill.
And I greatly value the benefits of, repentance and confession to a clergy and that confidence that you can put in a clergy member. It's just that when you cross the line into activities that are harming somebody else or that are illegal, that exception to me creates more problems than it solves.
Phil Lyman represents parts of southern Utah, including Panguitch, Blanding, San Juan, and Kane in Utah's House of Representatives. He says he's working to propose a bill that would require clergy to report abuse to law enforcement, even if it's through a confession. He and Democratic Representative Angela Romero have talked about working on this together.
Exciting for me because I don't really feel like it should be, oh, this is my bill or this is your bill. This is really about children and protecting children and holding perpetrators accountable and ensuring that they're not being protected by an institution, whether it's intentional or not.
Representative Romero says pushing this bill through the legislature could be an uphill battle.
This is not going to be an easy bill, regardless if you're Republican or Democrat, because you're going up against religious institutions who feel like by doing not doing an exemption that you're going to compromise them and their religious liberties, which is not the case.
Representative Lyman adds that he hopes this announcement serves as a starting point to have discussions with other lawmakers, people, and religious institutions to find solutions that everyone can get behind.
In my mind, it's fairly black and white. Take out the exception and then let the various churches respond in their policy of how to work under the new context of that. And I think they would find really productive ways of doing it.
We did reach out to leaders of several churches for comment. The LDS Church didn't get back to us, and the Catholic Church says they can't comment until there is a bill to review. On Capitol Hill, I am Maithili Gubi, Fox 13 News, Utah.
New body cam video shows a woman losing consciousness while under Salt Lake City police custody. She eventually dies, and that death is labeled a homicide. Coming up, hear what the former police chief has to say, how officers behave in that video.
New CDC COVID guidelines days before the new school year. We'll look at how the school plans and the federal recommendations line up.
And could the Little Leaguers from Santa Clara actually earn a fairy tale trip to the World Series representing Utah in Williamsport? Plus, it's time for high school football. Hear from the defending 6A champs as they start with a tough one on the road tonight.
Woefully inadequate. That's what former Salt Lake City Police Chief Chris Burbank is calling officers after watching the body camera video of them arresting a woman back in January.
That woman, Megan Moan, later died, and the medical examiner's office has determined her death as a homicide.
Salt Lake Police launched an investigation 2 weeks ago, but experts tell Fox 13 News reporter Emily Tenser that's too late.
Help! They're gonna kill me! Help me! Please don't tell me. I don't want to die. Please.
Megan Moan cries for help while in police custody just minutes before she loses consciousness and eventually her life.
No, ultimately he caused her death. Right? That interaction caused the death of that woman.
This video just now released is from 7 months ago on January 11th. Body cam footage shows an officer holding her arms near the area of 900 North and 400 West.
Can you call some more police, please?
No.
I think we need more police. Help! Please help me!
After refusing to say her name, the officer cuts off her backpack.
We're going to cut off your backpack if you don't give us your name.
Please don't!
Tell me your name.
Help! Help me! Help me! Help!
Well, what entitles you to do that to someone's possession? There's nothing under the authority of law that allows them to damage her property.
That's Chris Burbank. He was the police chief of Salt Lake PD for 9 years.
Why are we there? Why are we there? Why is it necessary to do it? And in this circumstance, it was not.
As soon as her backpack is cut off, that's when she starts struggling, flailing, and kicking her legs against the officer. At one point, 3 of them are on top and holding her, restraining her arms and legs.
It's revolting, we're disgusted by it, but we're also not surprised.
She's silent for almost a whole minute, then her leg goes limp. The body cam video cuts off right before they turn her over to allegedly begin CPR. She was transported to the hospital in critical condition and died in the ICU a few weeks later.
What we see in the video, when they arrive, they're already trying to establish a motive for themselves to place her under arrest by getting an identification from her. They're more concerned about that than they are helping the woman.
Salt Lake PD will not release why this woman was even in custody to begin with. And to finally launch the investigation half a year later, Burbank says that shows a lack of accountability.
And it is a leadership issue, which apparently if we're waiting this long to review a circumstance like this and say, hey, there's a problem, how many times between then and now have officers engaged in similar behavior?
Again, the medical examiner labeled this death a homicide, which rarely happens. Police Chief Mike Brown issued a statement saying in part, quote, ensuring we have a comprehensive investigation into this matter is critical. This case involves many complex factors. Reporting outside Salt Lake City Police Headquarters, Emily Tenser, Fox 13 News, Utah.
New COVID guidelines from the CDC are far less restrictive than previous recommendations.
And the guidelines come out just days before most Utah students go back to school. Fox 13 News anchor Max Roth takes an in-depth look tonight at how one of Utah's biggest districts is handling a new year in an old pandemic.
Davis County schools have 72,000 students, from 5-year-olds in pre-K programs to 18-year-olds in early college. This year, they've decided safety will come from information and resources, not mandates.
There are no mandates or any restrictions. It really is giving parents the opportunity to decide what's best for their own families.
Davis School District spokesperson Haley Higgins says their policy lines up with new recommendations from the CDC. Those recommendations include staying home and isolating for 5 days when sick with COVID-19, though if your sickness is moderate to severe or if you're immune compromised, make it 10 days. Wear a mask if you know you were exposed to COVID, and stay up to date on your vaccinations. Gone are the suggested mask and physical distance mandates and screening asymptomatic people in community settings. It's a far cry from August 2021, when Davis County schools had a lengthy outline of COVID rules for everything from test to stay in the case of a school outbreak and mandated 10-day isolation after testing positive. And Davis District is not alone. Utah's biggest district, Alpine, has has a 4-page back-to-school newsletter, and the words COVID and pandemic don't appear in it. For Davis going forward, the approach is about information and support.
We'll be reactivating our COVID dashboard and working really closely with the Davis County Health Department to give same day or the next day information as soon as we get it.
The district received $900,000 in one-time funding, which they're using to hire a school nurse and 10 so-called COVID aides employed to work with students and identify outbreaks. And they have 2 years' worth of filters for air purifiers in every classroom. So a lot of resources and a few recommendations.
We are recommending that students stay home if they test positive, but we're not enforcing any mask mandates and we're not enforcing any testing but we will provide testing.
The Davis district already had their new plan in place. They are not changing with the CDC guidelines. They say it's a welcome coincidence that the two line up so nicely. In studio, Max Roth, Fox 13 News, Utah.
I don't care if you're in Salt Lake School District or you're in South San Pete School District. Please go fill out your free and reduced lunch forms. It helps your schools dramatically.
Coming up, a major change this year when it comes to school lunch. What you need to know that could help your family and your school's finances.
And are you ready? The very first clue has been revealed in the second Utah treasure hunt. $20,000 now up for grabs. It's out there somewhere. We're going to show you what today's clue is. The Utah treasure hunt, it is back as of today.
That's right. This afternoon, 2 real estate investors, Jim Maxim and David Klein, kicked off the summer's second treasure hunt. They say they do it for fun and to get people out in the outdoors. 25 digital billboards will be going up announcing the hunt for $20,000 in cash with a secret code.
This hunt is different from the last hunt. There will be a series of stops in the form of QR codes, each with a puzzle, cipher, or challenge that will need to be passed in order to move on.
They released the first clue today. Take a look. You see that orange arrow pointing at that bush right there?
Oh my gosh, I think that's my neighborhood.
No, that looks like my neighborhood.
Does it look like yours?
It could
We
be
wish.
Yeah, it could be anywhere along the Wasatch Front. If you happen to recognize this scene, you are one step closer to $20,000.
I like it, Bob. I thought I was transported to like a 70s game show for just a moment there.
Maybe you were.
You'll now need to pay for your children's school lunches or apply for free or reduced meals. We'll explain how to do just that. Still to come. Morgan.
And later in sports, could the Little Leaguers from Southern Utah really reach the World Series and make history in the process? Plus, week number 1 for the Preps. High school football highlights in the oven as well. Back in a bit.
Okay, here is a friendly reminder for parents about school lunch. The past couple years, as you know, the federal government has covered the cost of meals for everyone at school.
That's right, but the old adage of there's no such thing as a free lunch applies again. Fox 13 News anchor Amy Ney explains why administrators say it's such an important thing to take care of right now.
The waivers all ended on June 30th, so we now have to do applications like we did pre-COVID.
Delene Coates is the child nutrition director for the South San Pete School District, an area where she says a lot of students will qualify.
We range from 40 to 50% free or reduced.
Why it's so important, parents realize they now have to reapply for that assistance.
A lot of our programs are ran based on the numbers of free and reduced lunch participants that we get.
Gunnison Valley High School principal Eugene King.
This is about providing all the opportunities that we can provide in a rural school district for our students to succeed and be better.
He says it could help families and their finances, but just applying could help your school.
At the end of the day, it's numbers of applicants in the pool, and when the different entities are looking at how they're going to award grants, that's one of the numbers they look at.
Instructions on how to apply for everyone on the South San Pete District website.
There's a lot of ways that parents can apply and get the help they need.
And some good news for those budgeting the extra cost for their kids. Despite dramatic increases due to inflation, at least the price of breakfast and lunch will remain the same.
That will vary district to district, but in our district, prices are not going up this year, and we're really grateful for that. I want you to know it's very nutritious, it tastes good, and our lunch ladies love your kids.
The moral of the story is please come and fill out the free and reduced lunch form. I don't care if you're in Salt Lake School District or you're in South Sanpete School District. Please go fill out your free and reduced lunch forms. It helps your schools dramatically.
Different districts have different deadlines, but typically the sign-up process runs now through October 1st.
This is just part of this, the paperwork part of it. It's not the fun part, but school is going to start, and we're super excited to have kids back in the building.
Amy Nay, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Well, maybe you were stuck in it. Wild weather has been reported across the state today.
Whoa.
Some of the most extreme rainfall was in West Jordan. You can see from this video from Twitter user Almighty Molinar. Or what is that? That's a crazy handle, but
I don't know.
You know who you are. Hopefully you're okay driving in that rain.
Yeah, it's not advised to go through standing water like this, but although some people made it the most of it, finding a massive puddle at a school basketball camp.
There you go.
Deep enough for some kayaking and swimming.
Wow. I guess it was warm enough for that as well, right?
Apparently.
Huh. Well,
they were swimming. Did you see some of the kids?
I know, they were up to here. My goodness.
That would have been me. Wouldn't that have been you as a child? You would have been doing the same
no,
thing.
I would have been standing there telling you, don't do that, Dina.
Oh, we know.
No, we know. All right. Well, here's some other views of this guy too.
There, Bob. That's the truth.
Bob's just he's always been so serious, right? Okay, well, great pictures tonight. We have beautiful clouds as the thunderstorms moved on out from the Great Salt Lake. Wow, just gorgeous. Of course, if you'd like to share photos, we'd love to see those at our Facebook page on Utah's Weather Authority. And here's a picture tonight from North Ogden. We had a lot of rainbows and lots of double rainbows too. And that double rainbow is extra special because it's the reverse or the flipped colors of the rainbow. Isn't that fun? And then you can see some of the thunderstorm cloud here and some of the top of that cumulonimbus anvil. That was really exciting tonight. Temperatures have dropped a little bit. We've got winds out of the south, humidity at 48%, and a temperature of 80 degrees. Our rain totals are pretty impressive. Fish Lake had some flooding nearby too at over an inch of rain. Fremont Indian State Park at about an inch. Same with Snow Basin. West Jordan by the landfill. Boy, that rain fell in a hurry. We saw huge rain shafts in the sky in some of our pictures earlier, and 0.8 of an inch. In Panguitch, about 1/3 of an inch of rain as well. So some of the rain now as we lose the daytime heating, mostly dissipating now. We had a few showers just over in Cache County, and we're stuck with the clouds, which is unfortunate because the Person meteor shower is going on. So if you can get just a little bit of clear sky anywhere, you could see some of that. But for much of the state tonight, it is cloudy, and the rain showers have all mostly gone. There's a few showers just west of Joab County, but things are mostly quiet now. We've got some rain showers in rural southern Utah, a little bit of lightning and thunder there too. We'll probably have some gusty winds with that, but for the most part, the rain is starting to diminish now. We still have our flood watch that goes through tomorrow because in the afternoon we will do it all again. Temperatures cooled down though with the rain. 64 now at Eden. Boy, that's comfortable there. 80 in Salt Lake, and in the 60s in Cedar City. 77 in Price. Not bad at all. Now going through tomorrow, we'll start off with a little bit of clouds and sun early in the morning, and then we'll have those thunderstorms again in the afternoon, so a lot like today, and then again on Sunday with the monsoon moisture in the afternoon. So going forward then for tonight, we've got mostly cloudy skies around 71 degrees in Salt Lake, and then tomorrow afternoon there's the thunderstorm. So if you want to get out and about, you want to go earlier in the morning rather than later. Up to 89 degrees in the afternoon in Salt Lake City. So temperature around 90 for the next couple of days in southern Utah. Notice that the pattern dries out for everybody in the middle of the week, and that includes the Wasatch Front. We're around 90 tomorrow, and then it dries out in the middle of the week.
The first full high school football slate began tonight, including a good one down at Provo. Just 9 months ago, Lone Peak was dancing at the end to take out Corner Canyon for the 6A crown. Then again, a trip to Timpview is never an easy way to start. This game actually played at Provo High due to some construction north, and watch the T-Birds tear right out of the chute to start. Micah Beckstead hopping on the horse, nobody catching. Timpview up 14-0 at that point, only to stick with what worked. More Beckstead, this time shaking some noodle off the sauce for a 31-yard score this time. The Thunderbirds, I kid not, led Lone Peak 24-0 in the fourth and adding a turnover as well. Final score 31-10. Who in the world saw that one coming? How would Corner Canyon look with their new QB under center? And he's got a familiar last name, but first the defense. Owen Borg off the deflection pick for the Chargers in Harriman. Isaac Wilson, 5 years removed from his older brother Zach under center in Charger blue. The junior quarterback to Drew Patterson on the screen. Patterson is gone, 41 yards. This was all corner. 45-7 there. The reigning 5A champs entertaining Davis. Lehigh right to work with the airmail. Jackson Brousseau, one of several returning starters in purple, has Colton Tanner in stride for a 34-yard connection on their opening drive. Later, the Darts punting, but they get a break. The ball touches Lehigh coming down with Alex Erickson pouncing on it inside the 20. But the very next play after that, Owen Murdoch coughs it up after the catch, giving it right back to the Pioneers, where Brousseau and Tanner had already proven they can make you pay, and here they go again. This time 46 yards on the launch. It was 34-0 at the half alone and 48-0 the demoralizing final. NFL preseason, including Jordan Love getting the start for Green Bay. Good and bad for the Utah State product. First the good. Love with 2 touchdown balls against San Francisco, including that bomb to Romeo Doubs in the first. The problem is he had 3 INTs as well tonight. Love wrapped up 13 of 24 through the air in a Packers loss. Zach Wilson beginning year 2 for the Jets. He was all smiles before the game, but then the exhibition actually started. He had interception problems as a rookie. He throws one here. Kazir White swipes it for the Eagles, and then it gets worse for the Draper native. Wilson scrambling, ends up diving forward a little bit when he comes up injured to his right knee. He was 3 of 5 passing for 23 yards when he left the game. New York did win the game 24-21. And a couple former BYU running backs went opposite in Detroit. Jamal Williams up the gut for 9 yards for the Lions as they got a score on the opening drive there. The rookie Tyler Algier did not enter the game till the second half, but rumbles for 15 here for the Falcons, 27-23 Atlanta. With no Little League affiliation in most of the state, it's no surprise that Utah has never had a team advance onto the big August stage in Williamsport, Virginia. But with one more regional win, a team down south in Santa Clara had a chance to do just that this afternoon, representing the entire Beehive. No pressure at all against Henderson, Nevada and San Bernardino. Utah already on the board, bottom one. Colby Lamoureux reaching to bloop a 2-run single into right. Nevada did later match with a pair of their own before this happens. Lamoureux again, this time to deep center for a 3-run home run. 5 ribbies total for that kid. Santa Clara led 7-3 in the 6th. But Nevada had the tying runner at the plate when Rex Whitney gets a chopper right back to end it. And there it is, the first Utah squad ever to advance onto the Little League World Series as they'll represent the New Mountain region. And we'll definitely see Tony Finau into the weekend as he chases a 3rd consecutive trophy now, this time to begin the PGA's postseason at the FedEx St. Jude. That's great work out of the sand. Tony birdieing 2 of his first 3 holes in Memphis. Then the birdie rolled 8, putting him just 1 stroke off the lead. He did have 1 mistake on Friday on the back 9 from the beach to the water, settles for bogey at 12. He's still 3 strokes back of the lead at 8 under par, so still very, very good shape.
Yeah, he's right up there.
Those Little Leaguers, what? They must be
how fun
tonight.
They will never forget this.
Oh, they're not sleeping right now. They're partying.
No, that last play, they made it look so easy.
Yeah.
You know.
And they're only getting started off to Williamsport.
So exciting.
Follow them. Let us know.
We will.
Updated on their journey. Thanks, Morgan.
We'll be right back. Thanks for watching Fox 13 News at 9.
QuickCast is next.